Okay, what we're doing right now is using the clamshell rake to remove some of the lily pads, the root systems, and some of the organic material that's attached to the plant life. So we're pulling the material out of the water, trying to stockpile it, let it de-water, and once we get a nice mound of material up out of the water, we'll come back and let it de-water, dry out, and then we'll bring it to our staging area to unload it and get it out into a field. What we have here is our aquamog, and our aquamog is a floating vessel, paddle wheels. We have live hydraulics on the front. On this project right now, the task of the equipment is to do hydraulic rototilling. A rototiller is hydraulically operated. It's a 6-foot wide rototiller, as you can see right now out of the water. The tines can reach down to about 10 to 12 inches into the hydrosoil. Depending on the bottom contour, the composition, we can actually go deeper depending on the composition. But what's going to happen is, as the operator will activate the hydraulics, we'll go in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction. And the goal of this is to dislodge the plant roots from the hydrosoil. Thereby what's going to happen is the rhizome, which is the root system of the lily pad, or any other types of vegetation, will start to float up to the surface. So the entire plant will float up, the plant, the stem, and the root system. We're opening up a channel right now on this lake right now. We have it boundary lines with PVC pipe, so we can actually see what we're doing. So when the water gets very turbid, we can do a nice straight cut. We'll be coming in and out of this area, so we can make a nice wide open channel. Tomorrow we'll be bringing our aquatic weed harvester in to actually skim up the floaters of plant life that are floating at the surface. So as you can see, scanning around the area that's been done, you see white roots with the plants that are floaters. So now they are completely dislodged from the sediment. So now all we have to do now is just come by and skim up the floaters. With this piece of equipment, we can do roughly around 2 surface acres per day. Doing this technique also, we're going to gain long-term control. The plant, the root system is now no longer present in the lake. So once it's skimmed up, the plants will be out of the ecosystem. So something like this is more of a long-term lake restoration project. The next step after this would be to bring the weed harvester in to skim up the floaters. What we're going to be doing here is, since it's a 6-foot wide rototiller, we have a channel there about 12 foot. So we're going to go to each side of the PVC marker buoys so we can get a nice clean equal cut. So what's happening now is the rototiller is being lowered down into the water, and it'll actually pull us forward in a forward direction. Once we get into a lot of the sediment, what will happen is we'll be picking the rototiller up off the sediment so the tines can clear themselves from the water and dislodge more root system. But you can see right now we're down to probably about 6 to 8 feet in the sediment. That tiller will go down to a depth of 16 feet.
How does it know how deep to go?
You can feel the bottom. There's a pressure sensor gauge in the cab of the barge. The pressure goes up to about 4,500 pounds. What we do is we set the pressure up to a maximum of 4,500 pounds PSI, and as soon as you feel resistance, what happens is the pressure will start to go up to 3,000, 4,000. The normal operation with just the water moving through the tines will probably be somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 PSIs. But as you hit root systems, rhizomes, or tree stumps, or rocks, it'll start to inhibit the tines from spinning around, so to build up more pressure, and the operator knows then to back off or to lower the rototiller down deeper into the water, into the soil. So you're constantly monitoring the direction where you're going, and you're also monitoring continuously the pressure gauge on the instrumentation. Yesterday what we did was, our task was to use the raking system The raking system is a 5-foot wide clamshell rake. The rake has tines spread out about 2 inches apart, and what we're able to do now is in the real soft organic area of the lake, we're able to dislodge the plant and the root system, but take some of the organic material out also. As you can see here to our right, you can see a pile of vegetation that was taken out yesterday. What we're trying to do here is to let it de-water to dry out. Tomorrow what we'll be doing is loading that into the back of some trucks and getting them out to a disposal site. You see a lot of plants, the roots, and some of the organic material. So what we're trying to do here is to remove the living and decayed plant material and some of the organic material that's attached to the root system. So we're able to do that close around the shoreline area, around the dock areas, and out in the open water to open up the channels. We're trying to be a little bit more efficient by coming in with the rototiller. The other attachment we have is a clamshell bucket that's used for dredging purposes. To perform the dredging projects, we have to use a clamshell bucket which holds 1 cubic yard of material. It's a 4-foot wide bucket, and that bucket could be used to take sediment out of the lake. So by dredging, we can do selective dredging without lowering the lake down. The lake could be filled up, and we can go in selectively and dredge out selected areas on the lake. You can see how fast the tiller is pushing the harvester right now. Once you get on a nice firm bottom, it'll just push us all the way forward. The paddle wheels are trying to push us back, the rototiller is trying to push us forward. So again, the whole purpose here is to get all the plant life, all the root system that's down in the hydrosoil, and get them dislodged.
Why did you lift it up? Clean it off?
To clean it off. To clean it off, make sure there's no broken tines, to make sure that there's no rocks or any debris cut within the tines of the tiller. Because if there is anything caught in there, you won't get a nice even till at the bottom of the lake. Very difficult to do in an environment where you can't see the bottom. So what we're using is a lot of sense of touch with the hydraulic levels. You feel the buoyancy of the vessel also shift around from port to starboard side and from the front to the back. If you hit something solid, you'll start to basically be drawn down off the bow. So what he's doing right now is going in reverse, going back out through the channel, and now we'll be doing the right side, or our left right now. He'll be getting in there and tilling that. So something like this right now, if you were to come in with the clamshell rake and rake this out, would probably take us about a good day to day and a half of work to do. We're here, we could do it within about an hour's time. We can clean out this whole channel area. So it's a very efficient operation. But again, what we're going to have to do is bring a harvester, an aquatic weed harvester, in to skim up all the floaters. We do not want to leave all these floaters floating in the lake. So tomorrow a weed harvester will come on site to skim all this up. We'll bring it to the shoreline area and it'll get unloaded into the back of a dump truck from there. Clear the water right now is getting turbid. What we're doing is we're leaving the lily pads on the outer perimeter of the area that we're working intact. So what happens is that will act as a nutrient sink that will filter out any of the sediment so it doesn't get respended in the rest of the lake and stimulate any type of algal growth.